Monday, May 27th. If you're listening to this, then you've heard the news already. Bolstered by a surprisingly good showing in the elections, Ende has seized power across Europe. Macron is our new god emperor. Here in Berlin, we are under the fiefdom of Guy Verhofstadt, not Christian Lindner, surprisingly. Kieran has been executed. Julia has gone underground to engage in guerrilla warfare. Nick and I have been spared because Kafki von Verhofstadt heard our AU episode where we talked about how hot he was and how we wanted to fuck him, and he thought it was serious. So now this podcast is pro our new dictatorship. The new Mega Rika is going to be how hot each billionaire is and how cool they are. And so we're just going to have our theme song, and then we're going to be joined by our guest, August von Fink, who is, let me check our notes here. He's a thought. He's a sexy fucking pog. And that's our show now. Hope you enjoy it. Maybe if you fucking voted, you could have changed it, but that's over now. It's too late. Macron is our new king. But actually, we shouldn't despair. There is still hope. There's a leader of the resistance who will lead us out of the darkness, who is taking on the major forces on all sides, who conspired to bring us into this new darkness. And he's connecting to the youth through radical new mediums. And his name is Rizzo.
Oh God.
I didn't actually watch this video. It was 55 minutes.
Oh,
I'm
fuck
not gonna
that.
watch
I saw like 3 seconds of it. It was like, I don't want to hear Ninja tell me why I should vote.
Why do they all dye their hair that color?
I don't know. Why is he also like a misogynist?
I know. Well,
surprise on YouTube.
Wait, actually, no. Misogyny is also now like kind of culturally acceptable in our Alda fiefdom that we live in. So he's good on you. What's his name? Rezo?
Rizzo or something like that. Rizzo.
I didn't watch the video. I don't know.
But what was funny to me is just how every single CDU politician had, it was like a personal, like all hands on deck to make like a YouTube video to respond to him and try to get the youth back on their side. And then there was a follow-up video with 90 German vloggers, which honestly sounds like the worst fucking party I've ever heard of. Like you think like Twitch streamers in general are bad? You think PewDiePie is bad? Like German vloggers, I cannot stand. Like something about them is like maybe more intensely painful for me to listen to than normal YouTubers.
They're like German YouTube energy is horrible. Because it's always kind of like, "Hallo Leute, ich bin's," and it's just like even in that the little bit that I saw of just the fucking Rezo commits genocide against the CDU video it was that exact same like method of YouTubing just the entire time of just like I don't know how to describe it. Like we'll put the video somewhere. I don't want to actually even share it because now it's like 9 million views or something. You got 1/10 of the population
he's revolutionizing. He's
you got
the world.
1/10 of the fucking population of this country to watch this video. Like
to watch 55 minutes of him talking. Jesus Christ.
And like the thing that I saw, I think I saw people from like DM posting it. I was like, okay, like he.
Okay, well that's one of the best parts because, again, I didn't watch the video, so I read this.
But he shouts out like
so he says don't vote for the CDU or the CSU or the SPD, and I think he says don't vote for the FDP. So it's like implicitly that leaves Die Linke and the Greens, or maybe he's an MLPD supporter. I don't know, but. Apparently, like listed on the video is he encourages voting for like one of the small, like not mainstream parties, and so they list DiEM25, they list Volt, and they list Ökolinks, who they seem like they're kind of eco-fascist. I can't tell, but like I like how it's just they're not part of the normal party, so they must be good. They're all the same.
Yeah, there's
no difference between all of these people.
Yeah, that's definitely like a real dumb guy take on voting, and that's a lot of like people in the U.S. too, and it's always this thing of like, yeah, like, you know, the big parties, they're fucking stupid, and I'm gonna vote for the Libertarian Party just because of the smaller guys, even though they're more insane than the Democrats or Republicans are, you know, maybe without the racism, the open racism, but they're just like, you know, at their party congresses or whatever they're called in the U.S. I forgot. They had a guy just like striptease, and that was his speech. And then another person was like talking seriously about how like children should be able to buy heroin. So cool, like those are your like. But and in Europe it's just like way more insane because then you also have like what is it like currently like to get to vague and stuff like that who are just like open Nazis or whatever.
Yeah, okay, so it's like maybe vote. You know, maybe we need a third way. You ever think about that? Yeah, there's definitely a healthy functioning democracy that we have here in Germany.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely not a working facade for anything underneath.
No, absolutely not, never. But hey, you know, all is good because, yeah, like you said, our God Emperor King of Emmanuel Macron is treating you and I at least very nice.
Yeah.
Julia sometimes sends us, you know, messages from the front, but we don't actually know her. So,
my dearest Späti boys, our munitions are running low. I have 360 no-scoped several Aussie army members. It was fucking lit.
Oh God, I just imagining now, just like Yulia, just in like full like camouflage, just with an AK-47, just chain smoking cigarettes. Like that could actually work. Like that's not very far off from reality, I think. But
anyway,
she's like, yeah, Yulia's just like, you know, on the fucking battlefields of like, I don't know, Antwerp or something.
If you're a listener who's not from Germany and don't know what we're talking about, don't look into it. It's just don't. It's gonna make your life worse.
I don't know what we're talking about either. Actually, now is it still Hazel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't watch the video. I mean, I watched, like I said, I watched maybe a minute of it. It was only just because it got like shared on Twitter.
Is there actually even translation in English or something or not?
No, of course not.
Then
but then
you're
some
lucky.
like really overzealous German is gonna be like, the world needs to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe like already translated. In
The world
all
does not need
languages
to
in
see
It's
it.
already
Europe.
been translated into Klingon, into Esperanto. Yeah, all the important languages.
They're not English. No. Hey, welcome to the Corner Späti. As you have clearly heard, Kieran is dead, and Yulia is on the front lines. Yulia's on the front lines fighting for a better Europe. But you at least have Rob and myself.
Hi.
Because apparently our, you know, God Emperor Macron likes us.
We just think he's hot.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we sent him, we called him a thought and a pog enough times that he was okay with us. So yeah, just us two. And Rob, if you'd like to introduce our guest, that would also be...
Yeah, sure. Well, first I should say we're going to talk about climate change today. And that's a pretty big topic, so obviously we can't talk about everything. So what we're going to try to focus on, it might get a little rambly, we're going to try to focus on basically all the climate, we would call them climate justice movements, because they're really popping off across Europe now. Whether it's Fridays for Future or Extinction Rebellion, it's certainly in the news. And we're going to take the opportunity to talk about one in Germany that's not quite as high profile and also more event-oriented than those other two, called Ende, Gelände. We're going to use it as... we're going to introduce it to you because it's coming up soon. Maybe some of our listeners want to go. I'll be there at the end of June. And we're just going to use that to tackle the topic at large. And to help us, we have a friend of ours here, Liv.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So yeah, we will probably get into, like I said, we can't tackle everything about
We're here. We're going to solve climate change on this episode.
in 1 hour.
1 hour, maybe hour and a half.
But we will have to talk about the role that coal has played historically in Germany, because
coal's canceled. You heard it here, folks.
We're going to cancel coal.
Yep.
And we have to talk about the police response.
Police are also canceled. Welcome to communism, baby.
To the protest. But we're going to start with the people and the movements themselves and see where that takes us.
I think we should like preface this too. I know nothing about this again. Like, this is another episode of Nick sitting being like, damn, like, that's crazy. I am your Joe Rogan for the night. I'm going to believe anything that Liv and Rob tell me. Yeah. However, with saying that, one of my personal favorite and least favorite movements to look at is like European environmentalism, because it's so fucking funny. And I guess also too, after like Ende Gelände, we'll like slightly discuss kind of the other movements, like some of the, I guess, maybe the good side of things with the youth movement thing with Fridays for Future. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's cool.
And how like the path that's taking on, but also then too, just ones that are just what I think are just bad performance art. Which is the things like Extinction Rebellion, and how, and it could just be like me being, growing up in the U.S. and seeing most of the environmental discussion come from like a consumer perspective, So I always kind of found it like really funny, but a lot of European groups just like also don't have a critique of capitalism either. So like while there are good movements like Ende Gelände and stuff like that, like we will also try to like discuss some of the funnier ones. At least I hope.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the funny aspects of Ende Gelände too, and the serious.
There is
aspects
nothing
of the
funny
other
about
ones.
Ende Gelände.
There's nothing funny about canceling coal and the police. But we should say off the bat that we can't speak for the whole organization, and we're certainly not experts in it. I've just been there once.
Me too.
Really feeling like I went to summer camp once and now I'm an expert. I'm going to tell everyone how it changed my life.
You're best friends with everyone from Ende Gelände.
Yeah, all 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Everyone who's using like a fake name.
all your white dudes with dreadlocks are all now your best friends.
We all braid each other's hair and like rub the, I don't know.
Yeah, you're able
No,
to
you
change
guys-
that white hair into dreads.
You just
need
go
a lot
over
of
to
this.
their house and like have like those like weird like massage sessions that they all probably do.
It sounds kind of nice.
And listen to like, and like probably listen to like Goa or something. Well, then like discuss like how your yoni is doing.
If we're ranking the susness of things, white dreads, bad. Massaging each other, good.
Yeah, I mean that actually like I just joked about it right now. That sounds actually really cool. So, Rob and I are gonna go to a cuddle party in Berlin after this episode.
Yeah, so we might as well get into it. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. So these are pretty big, complicated organizations. There's tons of different people there. Everyone has agenda sounds strong, but everyone's there for their own reasons and doing different things. And this is all these groups, and Ende Gelände in particular, since it's one big action.
What's up? My name's Friedrich. I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here to cancel coal.
Yeah, but we'll do the best we can to tell you all about it. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time on this because there's a lot of funny things to talk about and a lot of interesting things to talk about. But since we have a lot of non-German listeners, and we have a lot of people in Germany who might not know about Ende Gelände, I just want to get everyone on the same page. So, Liv, what is Ende Gelände?
So Ende Gelände is about like doing mass action. So like we have a lot of people. Like last time it was 5,000 people, and it's about blocking with all these people together, like a lignite coal mine, like the infrastructure of this lignite coal mine, which can be like tracks for the trains which transport that, or excavator. No, how do you call it?
The excavators.
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 Excavators. Okay. The
Wait, what's
diggers.
an
Just say
excavator?
bagger.
the digger, or how do you call it? So that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's
And-
what they're called in English?
I guess so, right?
Yeah, and so
Excavator?
so in
That's
German
my
it's
guess.
bagger. if you want to know. And
wow,
so this is
that's
blocked,
a stupid word.
like with the
I'm just guessing.
the
I don't
bodies
know.
of the activists. And so where all that happens is in the like Rhineland. So that's very close to Cologne. And yeah, so there's a very big coal mine from RWE is the company's name.
Yeah, we're gonna cancel RWE too.
Oh yeah.
And so what's also crazy about this is that this is like the, I think, biggest CO2 polluter in all of Europe, not only Germany.
Woo! Number 1, baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
We should point out Germany number 2 behind Poland in terms of EU producing, in terms of the amount of coal produced, but RWE number 1. Got to look at the advanced stats to know who's really on top.
Yeah. That's the thing too, like, with Germany, I think is absolutely hilarious is that there's like, oh, okay, yeah, like look at how green we are. You know, everyone sorts their trash. Everyone does all this, like kind of meaningless bullshit because Germany is just like, oh yeah, and by the way, coal, like we're gonna keep doing that, and we're not going to invest enough money into alternative energies. So you're stuck with that. Deal with it. All your fucking trash sorting is not going to do anything.
But they even make people believe that they're like the best and like renewables and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very crazy.
Yeah,
how,
it is definitely like
trash sorting number 1, but then renewables. Like
peak German mindset is always just kind of like you do exactly the opposite of what you convince yourself you were actually doing. That's in everything.
That's the power of German advertising, baby.
Yeah.
That's why they take so much pride in it.
So maybe also back to like what Ende is about. So they are also like non-violent, what doesn't mean that they don't
whoa. All right,
hurt people, but
they're not murdering the CEOs of
yeah, so sadly they're not the
What do you think canceling means?
Yeah.
But
canceling, I thought canceling was the English translation of fatwa. I'm glad that tickled you the right way.
So I thought it's about like non-violence like to people, but actually it's about things. Like so they don't destroy anything.
But murder is different. Murder's cool.
Yeah, Mitt Romney voice things
I'm
are
not sure
people
if they
too.
talk about that stuff.
My
So
friend.
I don't know. But so that's maybe also special about them comparison to others.
Yo, property damage, not about that no more. Killing people though, I can't stop.
But
Bloodlust.
as you can imagine, like all these people coming to RWE's coal mine and like occupying the like bagger and and the tracks and stuff, like RWE doesn't really like that, and it's their property, so the police comes in and really comes with hard repression on the activists.
Do the police also come on excavators?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did because they come with RWE, like the company's equipment and vans. So I wouldn't be surprised if the police just came in on one of those giant coal like excavators.
Yeah,
and
true.
Scooped everyone up and like threw them like a giant trebuchet.
That will happen. That will happen this year probably with
Yeah.
the new police laws. They allow that now, and now they can can use some new vehicles.
Activists.
Seehofer, when they had that the conference for all the different like state police groups, he's like, yeah, endlich we can trebuchet all of the Antifa, trebuchet all the way to Poland.
And there's like totally a dude like there has to be like a few members of like the CDU or CSU who are just like weird like medieval weirdos.
Oh yeah,
and they're just like, oh, like policing's cool, but you know what else is cooler? Medieval policing.
Well, in the U.S. you have the problem that like police officers like. Because of the military-industrial complex, you just have like tanks and stuff that police officers get, and the equivalent in Germany is they get a bunch of old trebuchets.
Yeah,
and stuff.
in Europe it just looks like you're playing like Age of Empires.
And so yeah, as you can see, this is not legal what they do with Ende Gelände. So it's like a civil disobedience action, and this happens like sometimes few times a year, like 1 to 2 times a year, and what is special about them? Maybe that they are like pretty anti-capitalist and they connect like their action to that anti-capitalism, and also they are quite like they are also anti-fascist too. So
we're going to cancel capitalism. We're going to cancel
cool.
fascism.
I mean, down.
Down.
And maybe like how
joke like
Well, it's not a joke that we're going to cancel RVA and Cole too, so and cancel the police. So
and like maybe how they're structured. They're more like an alliance. We thought is the translation, like a bündnis. So a lot of people who are organized there also organize in other groups, and like DEL, Interventionistische Linke, are kind of connected to them today.
yeah, so that's one thing I want to clarify for people, because maybe in contrast to Extinction Rebellion, which we're going to get into later, but they're getting a lot of money in donations, and they have a big structure. And Ende Gelände does too. They have year-long, they have plenaries, they have actions, they do education, and they're spread all around Germany, but it is mostly oriented around this big yearly action. Now it's going to be 2 this year because they're getting bigger. It's only 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, not so
Ende
old,
Gelände
yeah,
as a group. But yeah, it is a bündnis. So you have part of the reason it's so successful, even though because it's so young. Part of the reason it's successful, even though it's so young, is because there are these existing groups like EL, Interventionistische Linke, who have a longer history, and they have a lot of people who come together with other people from environmentalist movements to do this action. So, yeah, it is kind of like maybe that also makes it more open, because more people can join rather than joining some like group that has this really long history.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. And there are also some people who are just in Ende Gelände. So I think it's yeah. So I think Ende Gelände, they try to be very low in hierarchies and try to spread the power along all the participants. But of course, there is a lot of organization which has to be done beforehand, and there are decisions which have to be made. Like there are also only certain things you can do and stuff. So I think it's very well organized in general.
Yeah, another thing that helps the organization,
but it's also very chaotic too. But organized chaos. I mean,
organized chaos. Another thing that maybe helps it is that maybe people have heard of, if they haven't heard of Ende Gelände, maybe they've heard of Hambacher Forst, which is at the site where the protest has been the past 2 years and will be this year. I don't know if it's the biggest mine in Germany, but if it's not, it's one of the biggest.
I don't know, but I could imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, because there are several mines, most of them owned by RVA, throughout the Rhineland. And this one, they are slowly cutting down this forest, this Hambach forest. And as the mine goes bigger and bigger, and they're digging out more and more
actually,
coal.
they aren't cutting it down slowly. Like they cut away like 90% of the forest, I think, and now it's like the very last trees left, which is a super small forest.
So there are other groups other than Ende Gelände who they kind of work together with. I mean, because it's to the same end. There are several camps that occupy space either in the forest or next to the forest. There are a lot of individuals who squat the forest and build tree houses and stuff.
Just imagining a bunch of Slavs in the forest squatting.
There are some cool people there. One is there's at least one fighter in Rojava. I just looked it up and I forget.
Eleftheria.
Eleftheria Hambi is her name.
Yeah.
Who was at Hambacher Forest and went to Rojava.
Yeah.
Name means freedom in Greek.
And I think they would, if the people listen to us, like I think they always want to be distinguished from each other. Like there are people in the forest, they are a little bit different to the like Humvee cab, and they are all different from and they are all different from.
But it's all the
Gelände.
same end. I mean,
but they do support each other. They have fights, but they do support each other. And I said in a lot of leftist groups, but. Yeah, and also the occupation in the forest, like kind of, I think they completely changed after like October when it was evicted and stuff. So then the person went to Rojava after that eviction, just so they are more happy with us talking about them.
And just one thing I want to clarify is that there are like a diversity of, there are different approaches or tactics that people have. Some people do more intensive protests, which often will lead to more police repression, whether it's tying themselves to the track or actually going on the excavator. And that's usually planned. Yeah, I think smaller groups do that, whereas there's usually a big group that, well, it's split up into different fingers, right? And each finger can plan. But
yeah, we can talk. Should we talk about it more now? Or
like going on a murdering spree, is that also one? No?
Maybe if you go, you can get some people to do that.
Okay, cool.
See me in Gelände. But what did you want to say?
I think there are in general like very different approaches from the group in the forest occupation and stuff. But Ende Gelände also even like gets like hundreds of people go to occupy like a bagger. I know. So it is,
excavator.
but then of course like some people chain themselves to it and stuff, and some people like not from Ende Gelände, that's not an action consent, but some people also do violence, but just on the things, as far as I know. I think they are non-violent to animals first and then humans second.
Cool. Like,
So then I wanted to talk about RVA a little bit.
that's
Yeah,
also
that's
like
great.
German mindset.
Yeah.
That's like
What, like animal protection?
I mean, because
No, but these people, they are very much about that.
There's a
I
lot of
know
German
that,
Yeah.
like I
mindset on
get
this
that,
way.
but it's just like the like hierarchy of like what's more important is like always like for most Germans, like first my dog, other creatures, and then maybe people.
So a few little tips about RVA, as we've kind of alluded to before. Coal is king in Germany. It is by far the dominant fossil fuel of production in Germany. There isn't oil, and there isn't. I mean, they import oil and they import natural gas. The natural gas mostly from Russia, but it's not produced here. And what is produced here is coal, and it has been for a very long time, since for at least 150 years or so in Germany.
Yeah, like 2 centuries.
Mostly in the Rhinelands, before in like the middle of Germany, but not anymore, and also actually in the former East Germany in the south. There are also actions there. The 2016 Ende Gelände was actually in East Germany. I just looked that up, but the majority is in the Rhineland area. And of the coal production, RVA is by far the biggest company. I think they own most of the mines now.
Yeah.
So they really do run the whole show. So not only is coal the biggest fossil fuel production in Germany, RVA is the biggest coal producer. So as you can imagine, they have some clout, as we like to say on the show, within German politics.
Yeah, keep going.
One example of that is I want to point out one guy, Lorenz Meyer, who was general secretary of the CDU until 2004. And then he had to step down because it was revealed he used to work for RVA, and he was still taking a salary from RVA while he was general secretary of the CDU.
Surprise.
Cool stuff.
Cool. Like sounds like he's
Normal
got
CDU stuff.
that hustler mentality down.
He's got to have multiple jobs. Keep grinding.
Keep grinding. I wonder what his Instagram looks like. I bet it's cool.
They don't just have connections to the CDU. The RVA and the police, as you can imagine, are very tight. Talk about some real friends. So when RVA, this also connects to something that I don't know if it happens a lot in Germany, but it seems to be in the news a lot. Is that RVA's destroyed, or for coal mines, like hundreds of villages have been destroyed just to like make room.
Yeah,
for,
like there's also
mines.
a kind of initiative about that, which is, I think they're different ones, but often it's called like Alle Dörfer bleiben or something, and there are also initiatives like from the villages, and like people are killing themselves and stuff because they're like village they live in for a very long time. It's like getting destroyed. But like I worry, a lot of them are very reactionary there actually, but I do understand them. And I met some people from villages who really fight for the villages to stay, and they were like super cool and really like really woke people.
Yeah, but that's absolutely the starting point of any sort of like mass action. Like we have this company fucking us all over, some indirectly through all the coal they burn, or you directly because they're gonna tear down your house tomorrow. And yeah, it's something we can get started
And
with.
some people had to like resettle like 3 times already. Like they settled to the other village, then EVE came, okay, we're gonna destroy this one too. Then they settled to the next one.
Hey,
A few years later, EVE comes again.
At least they do that. Like at least like it's not like in the United States where you just like, oh hey, like we're gonna start fracking in your backyard. You may die. We're also probably like gonna like very vaguely tell you about it, and like we're gonna make it this like big complex referendum that you can vote on if we can frack or not. Yeah, your water may light on fire. That also may be a problem, but don't blame us.
You're gonna get approximately like 100 more earthquakes here
Yeah.
than you did before.
But you get like a small payout. like, you know, but not through actual money, but through Instagram followers and whatever else, you know, the Koch brothers pay you with. Clout.
Yeah, so I mean, it's similar. The Germany does this for building more autobahn too, because that's what they love to do. And yeah, it's the same process with the coal mines. I'm just imagining an absolute...
The problem I just can think of is that there are not enough highways here.
Yeah, like what if there? What, you know, we all love sitting in traffic in Germany. What if we could do that more?
Yeah.
I am imagining just an absolute fuego take from a German liberal being like, RVA is good because they're destroying the reactionary villages.
Damn.
That exists.
It does.
Now that I've spoken into existence,
I think that's true.
Fuck, that has to exist. Yeah, that like really anti-working class.
I'm getting mad at this already.
I'm mad at your fake person as well, who is a real person. You know how we destroy the Nazis? More coal, baby.
So there's a lot more to get into with like the relationship between the movement and workers, because a lot of the workers live nearby the mine or from the villages. But a couple of things I want to point out about RVA quickly, or about coal in general, is that the coal in Germany, like I said, it has a long history of being mined. But right now,
it's the best coal you can get.
Well, it is the best coal in that it's by far the worst coal. It has the most CO2 emissions. Like it is the best. It's lignite coal, which I guess is also
sounds fancy.
It's softer or something. I don't know this stuff. But that's the coal that's mined now in Germany. They used to maybe there's some hard coal still in Germany. I think
there is, but they don't mine it because it's cheaper to get it from.
But it used to be mined a lot, and now they're not mining it anymore. They import it usually from Colombia, because it's cheaper. And now
that's what I think.
Yeah. But what's the situation in Colombia?
Yeah, so they're getting the hard coal from northern Colombia, which is like very indigenous, and it's really like destroying the nature there through mined coal. And a lot of activists there like are getting killed and like facing a really hard repression. And RWE really enjoys getting that nice hard coal from there.
So part of the reason I want to go through all these examples is just to show like this movement like is really attacking a pillar, I would say, of like the German economy, right? Like this is not only is coal central to the system.
It's one of the things that made Germany one of the most dominant economies of the post-war era. That and steel, and even too with like the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole some people know this, but the EU traces its origins back to the European coal and steel community, which was primarily between French and German coal and steel interests, which are like doing the like arm shake meme. Yeah.
And as far as I know, like the law which allows RWE to like destroy that forest and the villages to mine coal is from Nazi Germany, actually. Like it's still from there. Like it's some weird thing like you're allowed to destroy if it's for the community or something. Like I don't know. But I think that's also interesting. I don't know.
I love the bizarre laws that are left over from Nazi Germany.
Yeah, just the best.
So all this is to say, this is important, man.
Yeah.
Striking them where it counts. And that's maybe connected to why there's such an intense police repression against it. We're going to find out.
I don't know. Like, the state, man. What's up with that? I heard this, like, Grimaldi guy talking about something with that. He seems smart, but he's also Italian, so I don't know. Can I trust him?
Let's. I want to widen the aperture here a little bit. We've kind of introduced this one of the front lines here in Germany about the environmental movement.
Not the front line Yulia is currently fighting on right now.
Yeah, sadly. But it's wow, you've been reading the news? It's this whole climate justice thing is all over the news. You guys see this?
I heard that the climate's changing. I don't know if that's
the times they're changing. The climate's
changing. I also heard that it's actually a good thing because then.
Because Germany's gonna be able to grow
tomatoes.
Yeah, we can get
nice tomatoes. I'm so excited. Olives too.
Hashtag Deutsche Tomaten.
Those sound horrible, especially because the tomatoes in this country are already garbage from like wherever the hell they come from.
Can't wait for more garbage tomatoes.
Oh God! But I mean, probably the garbage tomatoes that you eat that are actually from the garbage are probably better than the ones that you can get in the fucking grocery store.
Just imagine
Because-
an Instagram post like along the lines of that police influencer that we found last week, just like a German, like in a like post-apocalyptic hellscape, and it's just an Instagram which still exists, sadly, in 50 years. Like of German tomatoes, it's just like we had to grind for this view. We had to kill billions for this, and it's just like a tomato with like zero color, and a couple of Germans just like giving a thumbs up in their mech suit. All right, well, what do we want to talk about first? Fridays for Future?
Yeah, because there's not really much dunking on them that can be done.
Fucking kids,
fucking
dumb as
dumbass
shit.
kids. What you want to change the climate that's changing?
You want to not die? Yeah, it's cool that they're doing stuff.
Yeah,
we've as listeners of this program already know, we are the Greta Thunberg Defense Squad. Protect Greta at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. The thing is, too, though, is that I really am glad that the kids are just going to dab climate change out of existence. This is cool.
We're
capitalism.
Well, what was the slogan you heard today?
Yeah, I can tell you it's nice. So, like in Hamburg, they did say, like Streik in der Schule, Streik in der Fabrik. Das ist unsere Antwort auf eure Politik. So that's your German Classpartei. So it means striking in school, striking in the factory. That's our answer for your politics. So that's pretty cool that they said that.
These kids are fucking kind of cool, and I normally like don't think that a lot of youth activism is cool. So it is nice that, given not all of them, but I have seen that there is, to a degree, like a collective understanding that capitalism is shit, and cool that the kids are, doing that.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I was in grade school or whatever, I didn't even fucking know what capitalism was. So.
Yeah, I think it's also. I think I'm very happy. Like so many young people are politicizing. I think I'm a little bit more pessimistic because my brother is going to Fridays for Future, and he doesn't know what capitalism is. So
well, that's cool. I mean, like
but like I hope he will like that will help him understand, and that will.
He doesn't even have to. Like as long as he.
What's
just,
important is that they all follow Greta into battle. they do human wave attacks like into the RVA coal plant. We're gonna make it.
But yeah, like I think I just hope that it won't like get into this just about consumption and very individualist stuff, but
it
will stay or be anti-capitalist.
Kids are stupid.
Yeah, but we will see. And a friend of mine told me they are actually getting money from the Greens, so I'm very worried about this.
Well, okay, cool. They're just gonna become really racist now, and but then they're gonna sort their trash properly. So cool.
It's like the fine print of a contract you sign. Like the contract is like, all right, we're gonna stop climate change, and the fine print is like, you're gonna have to say the N word about 20 times a year to fulfill this contract. You're gonna have to say you love capitalism. Yeah.
But yeah, I
mean, part of this is in jest, but good on the kids. It's something.
Yeah, really.
Let's get working on it. Like, no one's expecting them to be perfect, and obviously, kids can't save us. But it is inspiring to see a lot of action.
Yeah, kids sure as fuck can't save us.
A lot better than we were when we were that age.
Oh yeah, and I mean to be fair, like the only other thing I know that kids these days are doing is playing Fortnite. So I mean, this is a better alternative to that.
Yeah. And I really think that this is really like radicalizing them. And there's a lot of
Fortnite is right.
Exactly. And there's a lot of connections to other movements too and stuff. So that could like be something.
Yeah, and it is. I think since it is a school strike and it's people in school, it is like a broader section of. It's a broader section of people than like a somewhat self-selecting group of climate activists, which is good, and we should definitely encourage, and we should definitely operate within that milieu, because it's definitely there's more potential there.
But yeah, I think you also said that it's more like a actual strike, like it's a strike, the Fridays for Future. So I think that's also cool about it. Like it's actually like kind of disruptive, and actually like a threat. Like it's really like making politicians angry and stuff that these kids aren't going to school on Friday. Like
didn't
they really hate
Christian Lindner
that.
have like a fucking just galaxy brain take about like how these dumb kids should be back in school?
Yeah, he does. And Mondays for economy and stuff, like that's nice.
I fucking love Mondays for economy.
But I think you did talk about that before. I don't know.
I just probably like angrily tweeted about it because there is like the thing that pisses me off is that like something that like all libertarians think is that they understand the economy better than everyone does, which is bullshit. Like Marxists obviously understand the economy better than everyone else does. Like this is just a fact. And I love when then like they're like, oh yeah, like climate change, wild, isn't it? By the way, let's talk about how like we should promote neoliberal economics on Mondays. Fucking idiots! I cannot stand them, and every single person who takes it seriously should just be like kicked in the nuts repeatedly because they're all dudes too. Like they're all a bunch of fucking like just virgin idiots who like think that like because they wear a bow tie they're a good economist.
Yeah, I think also like Fleischhauer and stuff, they always frame this also so much like, they're just these kids, they don't know what they're doing, like they're not smart. They don't have enough
racism.
Just Christian Lindner, he can solve it, but the kids like they can't and stuff. And like that's also just so stupid because it's not the case, like it's the opposite.
And I mean Jan Fleischhauer is just like legit like black pilled, like, and by
my god,
by black pill I mean he ate a piece of coal. And he's just
the German equivalent of black pilling yourself.
And he's just he's ready for the world to die if it means that he owned the kids.
Yeah, I mean, he actually we read that on the Jan Fleischhauer episode of his just nuclear take against Greta, which was insane because she's how old? Like what? 16. And cool. Jan, come on the show.
So let's transition to Extinction Rebellion.
Oh my god, I hate these guys.
Okay, all right. I feel like this is going to be I don't want to be too hard. I don't want to say Fridays for Future is absolutely perfect.
No, they're not. But they aren't.
And then
but
Extinction Rebellion has all the problems because we're going to slowly transition into talking about the problems.
Yeah,
but there are also problems.
No. Fridays for Future does have a lot of problems because they're dumb kids, and I think we can just leave it at that. Kids are stupid.
Should we talk about that funny thing with the rapper? They wanted to.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So I'm actually not sure where, but I think in Berlin they wanted to get a musician because they always do that. That's very nice. To have music. So they asked this rapper Chefkit, who's like real backpack rapper actually, and.
I'm surprised you knew what a
I think very
backpack
boring
rapper
and stuff. So they asked him, but then like few days before the strike, they actually like canceled his show because they told him that they found out that he had a feature with Qatar.
That's a cool
and
reason.
That couldn't like then like Chefkit can't come if he had a future with Qatar. Like. So a possibility can perform at their protest. So.
Since I imagine that like the majority of our listeners have absolutely no idea about German hip hop.
But I know about backpack rappers, so you have to know about who Chata is and stuff.
Yeah, German knows what backpack rappers are, so all of our listeners have to know who Chata is.
You should call him German.
What?
Sorry. You meant Germans in general, but you made it seem like you were talking about Liv specifically. Like German knows what this is, like that German.
That German, yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Okay, Hatar is an absolute fucking pimp. I cannot stress this more. He's like I don't know, like a Kurdish German rapper who's he's.
Can we drop in a bit from Gaddafi?
It's also nice that
I
I made you explain.
Yeah, because I don't know how to describe him because he's just like
rides around on a golden
I think
tank.
you know better than me, but like true.
I don't get how he's like that problematic except for his one song that is called Gaddafi.
Which is like,
maybe you should try spending your Mondays learning about the economy instead of rapping about hoes and bitches.
No, see, he raps about how he's gonna keep his money in gold because that's the smarter thing to do because Gaddafi was notorious for that he didn't want to like negotiate with the United States.
So Tara's rapping about how he's going to develop a nuclear program, or at least maintain the threat of it, so that he's not invaded by the United States.
But best thing about that video is that there's just a part where now he filmed all of it, I think, in like Sierra Leone or something like that. It is an insane video.
We shared with you.
Yeah. We will put this video in the description.
Good
It is so fucking cool. It may not be able to be played in the United States. I'm being serious because I wanted to show my friend it and I couldn't pull it
It's
up.
the opposite of the Ben Shapiro tweet.
Yeah.
You don't get any cool stuff.
It's way too cool for the U.S. And there's a part where he is just like riding around on a tank that's just like covered in like gold foil. It is the coolest music video ever. It's a flex that no other rapper, and by like riding around on a tank, I legitimately mean that the tank is riding around and he is standing on it. Like, it is so cool.
Yeah. But he was in prison. Maybe that's the reason why.
Oh yeah. Like he's had a
Hashtag cancelled.
I think he was like hiding his gold somewhere underground.
Gaddafi or Qatar. I mean, like to be fair, like Qatar does have like an actual like, you know, real street life thing that like he's not just like all talk and, you know, like I don't.
But it's
but I don't see that then being all that problematic because he does like.
Also about the prison, I didn't mean like that's a reason to not let the person who had a feature with him play. I just mean like it's also weird like that the Fridays for Future think that's so bad that someone was in prison.
But it, like in the like general scheme of things, it is still like a white European movement. Yeah, you know.
No, for sure. I think that's also a reason, and I know, and like like
we can change that though.
Qatar's much better than
Qatar be a part of Fridays for Future. Not he's the guy who's on the feature. Like I don't care about him. I want to see Qatar come up and just
Qatar join Ende Gelände, make a concert at Ende Gelände.
Yeah, come with a fucking golden tank.
Yeah, please.
Smash capitalism with your gold foil tank. So yeah, we spent way too long talking.
So Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah. Oh my God. These.
Well, the first thing we should say about Extinction Rebellion, I got to play Nick's foil a little bit, is that it's not. It is also a very big group, and there are chapters in Paris and in the Netherlands, for example, in Denmark, also in Germany.
Really in Germany.
They're doing a lot of different things, and I would say probably more interesting things, better things than in. And I don't want to generalize too much, but it is. For an ostensibly horizontally organized organization, and they do have some aspects of that, there's a lot of, I don't know where they're getting all their money, but they got a lot of money.
Gaddafi, baby, really cares
only.
about you know, his ghost is supporting all the environmental
so
organizations.
You've almost definitely heard about Extinction Rebellion because they're definitely bigger in numbers than Ende Gelände. And when I say Ende Gelände, there are also other similar coal protests in neighboring countries. So in France and in Czech, in Netherlands, there are some, and they organize. So people, that's another good aspect of Ende Gelände that I think we'll get into later, is that it is very international. Not only the solidarity with people in Colombia, because they're also having their environmental
Hold on. Extinction Rebellion is not international. It's a club for white Europeans to pretend they're doing something. Yeah. Like it is not like there is not an internationalism.
I was talking about Ende Gelände, but yeah.
But I think you have to.
I think Ende Gelände is more.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
But I think I do agree with you, Nick. Like I think also about Ende Gelände, like I really like the Bündnis and stuff. But I think you have to be critical also about this, like solidarity with the global south, with countries in global south and stuff. Like because it's very wide and stuff. Like and so I think
I don't know the structure of what Ende Gelände does, but I mean like seeing the things of what pop of Extinction Rebellion is again a bunch of, you know, white people doing performance art and very bad performance art.
Well, let's get into it. So I think that most people have heard of them. First, because they're so big, and you might have a chapter in your city, especially if you live in New York. They're probably most well known for their big public protests in London, where they're like, "Yeah, we got 50 people arrested at Oxford Circus yesterday." Blah, blah, blah. There was one action or 1 week where they had 1,000 people arrested, and it's not a coincidence that I know. I mean, there's a reason I know how many people were arrested, because they love bragging about how many people were arrested.
But is it like actually that they're arrested for being problematic, or is it like symbolic? Like,
wait, they're arrested for their protest being weak and ineffective by the police.
no, but have you not seen like I always see these things of like whenever like journalists in the U.S. get arrested, like the people from Chang from Young Turks is like, oh, I got arrested, but it was just like him and a line of journalists like.
I think you're right. Actually, they're often just arrested and booked. I don't know, but they're not even taken away.
It's like very like calm, and it's just because they're like standing in the wrong spot or something. Like they're not beating the shit out of like happens to things at like Ende, Gelände, where like the police come ready to brawl. I don't know. I mean, I'm just questioning because I can't imagine Extinction Rebellion being more than just a theater for you to pretend that you're doing activism. I think I really don't like them, as you can obviously tell.
No, but I think it's probably kind of right. I think what I think about the police, like as far as I experienced it with, I think the police they love to get violent on you. They love to hit you if they can. But if people are around there, and in a city like London, there are people around. If you like glue yourself onto something, there will be people around watching you, and they won't the police is not how is it, like they are not like brave enough like they don't trauen themselves to actually hit you because there are people watching and stuff. But I think we can also come to it later at Ende Gelände in the Rhineland, they actively like try to get like journalists and politicians to come to watch them because the police is actually pretty violent on them. Like I don't like, you can't compare this to other things like black people being shot in the US by police and stuff, but they are like,
well, no, I mean,
they're really they are pretty like pretty like crazy the police in the Rhineland, because there's nobody around to like nobody around who can see them, so the police can really do what they love.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to like go like, I mean, like that's also the thing too, is that like I don't want to then also cheapen the fact about then like police repression in different countries obviously is different.
Yeah.
It seems like as simple as that. So the way that then political movements are policed can't be compared with then that of how systematic repression is in the
that's
United
also
States,
true.
of course,
No.
So do not come at us saying that then we're not like critical enough on some stupid shit, because we are. You're the one who's wrong. Don't at us.
So I just want to clarify with the arrests. Please correct us if we're wrong, our listeners. So just from this Guardian article I'm reading, it says 1,000 arrests. I think when it says 1,000 arrests have been made, they're like pending charges. Like they can decide to drop the charges, or like I think the 1,000 people, they're often arrested and then they're just sort of processed on the spot and let go. But then their name is, maybe they'll come down with harder charges in the future. I don't know, but there's just a long list of 1,000 names. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But I say that because I do think that obviously there's a varying degree of police repression at every depending on the individual and depending on the police officer and the situation, whatever. But as a tactic, well, first of all, we should say that it is just a tactic. Like I do think that, at least from what I've seen of what's his face, I've seen him dragged enough on Twitter that I know his face, but I forget his name. Roger Hallam, who's kind of a leader in Extinction Rebellion, this old farmer guy. He is kind of excitedly talking about, we're going to get so many people arrested, and like talking with the cops and like planning everything. And it's like,
yeah, that's the thing. It always feels very.
That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Like
it feels very, very, very fake.
Well, part of the reason for that is because, like, when you're not, and I'm not saying this like y'all are weak, let's do better. I mean, a little bit we should
Y'all
do better.
cowards don't even smoke crack.
Y'all cowards aren't even challenging capital, because like I understand the structural problems, but you kind of have to be honest with yourselves. Like, all right, if you're having a protest and you're disrupting something, like unless you're actually like stopping, unless you want to shut down the whole London economy, which they don't really want to, it's mostly symbolic, okay, and then follow the logic through. What is the symbolism? You want the media to report on it, okay, and how do you get the media to report on it? Lots of arrest numbers or photos of police being violent, you know, that you can spread around.
It's not like fucking like G20
and it's a fucking like that's a kind of like we should be on. I think we should be more honest with ourselves, or the group should be, about what exactly that tactic is. Like, if that's all you got, and I'm not passing too much of value judgment on that one way or the other, because yeah, that's all some people got. Like, let's just try to use the media on our side, as fucked as that is. But we should be aware that the arrest is not like, yeah, finally we're really racking up these arrests, so we're getting more media attention. Like, it's one tactic out of many, and we need to like strategically, tactically decide what the best approach is depending on the situation.
All right.
It's not just more arrests, like racking them up like a high score in Candy Crush.
Candy Crush reference in 2019. We're here.
Because we don't play enough Fortnite.
Yeah. I guess we can then my favorite thing about them is
all the die-ins that they do.
Oh God! Yeah, holy shit!
Was that the word you searched for?
I don't know how to like describe it, because I just absolutely hate this method of protesting, because like you see it all the time on like whatever your like milk toast media that you take in is, because it like during Hamburg. That was the thing of like, oh yeah, like you see the violent protests. Well, what about the zombie protests?
Yeah.
Like, this is cool and non-violent, and this and that and that. And like, first off, it doesn't understand, at least in my opinion, the sense of like what a demonstration actually is. Like, yeah, it, in some sense, like if you want to like break it down and be really stupid like that, we can then obviously say that there's a performative act to going out and with your signs and this and that. But I always kind of feel that then like with the chanting and with this, like it's always pretty easy to then see what it's about. Like you can like read the things, even if you don't know the language, there's like symbolism that then you can kind of make out to decipher like what it is. It makes it also that I think much more collective, that then you can like sing along and do the stuff that you can, and it makes it an event. And that also still too falls under the category of like nonviolent protests, all that kind of stuff. And it's good and fun, and I appreciate that. Going and just like lying in like Gendarmenmarkt or wherever the fuck they did that, wherever they like
they do it everywhere, man.
They do it everywhere. And it pisses me off. Like, it really, like, it grinds my gears, because it is just the lamest shit. And they, like, splatter blood all over themselves. And they just have this, like, oh, yeah, you know what? The climate's dying, and so are we. And it's just so, like, I don't know what is wrong with Europeans' brains, but they love this shit.
So, I do think the die-in is very specifically it's tailored for the photo op. Like, it's a good photo when
it's so
even if you just have like 100 people, like if they're all lying on the ground, it's like, whoa, what's this? It's eye catching.
Hey,
and
whoa,
so, hey, there's something like, and I do think it's an. It's true. I do think it's an example of like how it's about the media focus, which again is just a means to an end. Like the end isn't we're in the newspaper. The end is we're getting enough people together for a revolution. And like, media exposure is just one thing in that step. What I think is good about a demonstration is exactly the collective power that everyone feels. Yeah. Maybe you can't actually pop off right now at this demonstration. Almost never can you do that. But at least you want to talk about prefigurative politics, talk about prefigurative action. Like, all right, you're feeling like the collective energy of the whole group, and like, I don't know. I've been in at least one die-in, like just because we were in a march and it's like, now we're doing the die-in part. It's like, okay.
But it wasn't climate justice. Luckily.
But like, it's sort of like, that's the worst part, because like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't want to be dead right now. I want to act. Yeah. I don't want to die yet. Why are you making me die?
So we dying now? Shit. Fuck. I didn't have this planned. All right.
Like, and it's not just that lying down is always bad, because I think a lot of people like lie down on the tracks for something at Ende, Gelände, but that's like actually has a reason for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like instead of just on the street where you're supposed to be, because that's just the photo op, And when you're lying down, I do think there's an aspect. So what I was joking about, like, damn, I gotta die now. Like, there is an aspect when you're lying down on the track where you do feel like powerless. And I do think that also serves not in the same collective strength, but in the like, damn, I'm really vulnerable right now. And when the die-in and you're kind of like, you know, like cordoned off a bit and then gendarmocked, it doesn't have the same effect. Like, it is supposed to be like, oh, I'm really vulnerable right now. I'm lying down on some tracks and there's police all around. But like hundreds of thousands of other people are too. So like that, it does serve that same end of like the collective power, even if it's this like lying down and you're going to get carried away and arrested.
Yeah, just maybe just one thing about the being arrested and stuff. I think can you maybe do you still have that thing about that a black person like doing like a workshop with Extinction Rebellion about anti-racism and stuff or not?
Yeah, I can find it.
Or like maybe we can also summarize. I think they were just saying that Extinction Rebellion like posted on the website like, yeah, it's so chill to be arrested. It's actually nice. Like it's like just nice and stuff. And like
Extinction Rebellion has a big like.
Being
because I love
arrested
the
is
police.
fucking
Like it's very nice to be arrested because the police are so nice. You know, like it's just great.
Yeah, I was about to say like
they're your friends.
They've been accused on multiple times of like being very racially insensitive, and I think that is fair and true to make that assessment about them, because it's motherfucking 2019. Like we see how being arrested for a lot of people is not a happy, fun, go lucky experience. Like going down to the police station, gonna you know
like,
cuff me, officer.
Like you did talk about this, like what just happened in Hamburg in the psychiatric clinic, like just where you can just do therapy and stuff, and where a black man was like killed by the security, what just like similar to the police, the security and stuff. And yeah, this just happened and everything, and still it's very like crazy and people don't recognize that.
So William Tonomumbabda, the man who was killed by the security at the Hamburg hospital, there was a big march today in Hamburg, and it's still ongoing. Shout out again to the black community in Hamburg, who I saw was organizing at least one of the marches.
They're doing more important work than Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I mean, I'm done talking about Extinction Rebellion, really.
All right, well then I want to say, what I want to give credit to Extinction Rebellion is that there's a lot of people. That's always good. And I know like there are, like I support entryism into movements like this. Like if you have a lot of people willing to get arrested, like let's get arrested for a better reason. And hopefully under like, as a last resort under different actions. So that's always an opportunity. And I know there are a lot of people, there's probably people listening who are involved in maybe some tangentially related to Extinction Rebellion in their city, and, you know, do what you can. Like if you meet people there to, you know, push them to, radicalize them, you could say maybe, but not even that, just like channel the energy to like more effective ends. They had this big week-long, like one of the biggest things of the Extinction Rebellion was this like week-long or over a week protest in London. And there was like, it was unclear how they were able to protest where they were because they needed a permit from the city to do that. And then there were all these like speakers organized to talk, and it seemed like there was criticism that it was more top-down than the organization actually led on, and that it was like, to put on the whole thing, because they had like a big pink yacht there, and I don't know why there was a yacht in the...
Wait, what?
Like on the bridge, there was some pink yacht that said something. Like, change the future. And I know companies are donating a lot of money to Extinction Rebellion. I know it's also open from donations for anybody. But, I don't know. Does not smell right at all. Like, any like, unclear group structure getting a lot of money from companies is like... Don't know what to make of that.
So they just had a pink yacht.
There was a pink yacht. All right, I'm going to find the pink yacht for you.
I don't actually believe this. I think you're making shit up. There's no pink yacht.
And
yacht.
Like maybe also one thing, like maybe we can talk more about it. Maybe it's not true or something. Like I also get the feeling like,
Sorry.
well, you got it?
I found a Daily Mail. They were pissed at the pink yacht. The Daily Mail article says, Bon voyage, moment pink yacht is finally, all caps, wheeled off after 5 days in Oxford Circus. Eco-mob plot more mayhem with picnics on motorways.
What does the pink yacht
The pink
look
yacht
like?
says, tell the truth.
You see
I don't know
it?
where they got a yacht. I'm here to tell everyone Ende Gelände has no yachts.
Don't worry. But they need golden tanks from Qatar.
Gold tanks, Sata, come through with the gold tanks.
Tell the truth, like about what? Like
Syria.
about 9/11, Syria, Greece.
I think I also got the impression like Extinction Rebellion is a lot about like, oh, you politicians, you have to do something now and stuff. And like it's true, I agree. But I think Ende Gelände, for example, they are like they gave up like on CDU in the Rhineland. They know like they won't do shit. Like
Yeah, that's also like
and like I think that's
like that like just dipshit liberal take of like
we tell you to do this now and then like,
you're gonna do it. Yeah, like
if we just glue ourselves on this, then they will do it.
like
Yeah,
do they
sure.
not see what's happening in Europe? Like you think you're gonna get fucking like Viktor Orban to sign on to
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
And also like RWE, like Ende Gelände recognizes that it's not just the government, like RWE is like in this too and they have their interests and they like their interests are CDU's interests and stuff and
it's almost
that's
like
also
the interests of politics, the sphere of politics and economics are like intersectional. We love that word intersectionality here at Cornish Speaking, but only for these two things.
I do want to hop on to Liv's point because the Extinction Rebellion does make a big deal about their 3 demands. The first, which is tell the truth. Which
That means nothing!
It means, I'll tell you what it means. It means they want the government to declare a climate emergency, which they have. They did that like a couple weeks ago. So,
boom.
Emergency declared. I declare an emergency. Second is act now.
But that's still also, that is also a nothing statement in itself.
I have to get through these. Number 2 is act now. The government must act now, reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2025.
Shut up!
So
I hate them.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2025 would be great, and it's also much sooner than any international agreement. But it's what's needed. It doesn't say how to get there because that would be,
of course not.
That would be completely taking over the economy, which would be cool. Yeah. And number 3 is beyond politics.
Fucking just
government must create and be led by the decisions of a citizens' assembly on climate and ecological. I didn't know what the hell a citizens' assembly was.
Yeah, they do explain it there. I didn't read it though.
Apparently they're in Ireland too. It's a random selection of citizens.
That is exactly how like Athenian democracy worked. like I'm not joking.
I can't wait till they vote to kill Greta Thunberg like Socrates. We're literally corrupting the youth. Yeah.
No, but those are all like, yeah, exactly.
But you're exactly right. Like they're just putting pressure on the politicians.
Yeah.
In that, well, and you can like, the thing is the matter of you know, these very just like milquetoast liberal movements is that it comes down to the sense of like, oh, you know, like, yeah, we have power, like, as a movement, but we're not going to utilize that, first. Second, yeah, like, exactly what you said, like, the bringing climate emissions to net zero by 2025. Cool, fine. How are you going to fucking do that in a not planned economy? Like, you can't. It is physically fucking impossible. And that's why there are... you know, there are good climate initiatives taken by, you know, whether it be certain groups or certain parties and stuff like that, that then acknowledge the fact that then capitalism and climate change... capitalism is the reason for fucking climate change. Simply, like, it's like just simple as that. But trying to make... I don't know. I'm mad at them. And the tell the truth thing, I can only just make fun of it. Like,
you lie, sir.
It's exactly that.
I also don't know what Extinction Rebellion says about capitalism. I don't see
the word.
the word. They have to say the word.
Capitalism.
I don't
more
want
like crapitalism.
Yeah,
Extinction
they
Rebellion.
can't even say that. But yeah, the last thing I want to criticize, and people have maybe seen this dragged online. There was the tweet that it's like, well, a couple of things. And again, huge organizations. So there's a lot of different things at play here. They seem to love the cops. We love our cops, our law enforcement. Yeah. So the examples we have is the Twitter account tweeting like cops are workers too, and then apparently like a common refrain from some protesters is to like sing like we're doing this for your children. Like you don't need to do this. Not even you don't need to do this because I think that's very common, but like you should be on our side. Like come.
So their entire mentality is the Pepsi commercial with what is it,
Yeah.
Kylie or Kendall Jenner?
It was Kendall.
That is their whole, like, they saw that and they're like, yeah, like that can happen. We can do that.
Yeah, instead of a Pepsi, it's like a kombucha.
but maybe that is pretty like common in the climate justice movement. Like, I think I never thought about it, but I remember like also when there was the whole eviction going on in Hambacher Forst, I remember also videos about that, like people activists being to the police like like we're doing this for your children, like now take off your uniform and join and stuff. So I have to look more into this, like what is this connection with the I think they're just very like, oh, we want harmony with everyone, also with the police. And what you said, that maybe it's also kind of white German thing or something.
Oh, very much so is, because they think that then like they're pure in their actions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that then through their purity, that then it's just going to break the hatred of the cops, and they're going to come over and they're going to drink Pepsi.
That's so true, I think. Because I think they are so much like, we are so non-violent. We are like, I don't know. And
the police is like, yeah, that's cool. We're going to fucking, beat the shit out of you.
But I think it's a mixture. There are also a lot of people who really hate the police. Like, what was very nice, I'm not sure if you know, I think Rob knows, maybe you too. In Hambacher Forst, for example, they have the tree houses, and they have actually also their toilet up there in the trees. So they had like, this big collection of shit. And then when the cops came all the time, they actually took that shit and put it on the cops. And then they all were like covered in poop. So pretty nice. I hope someone took photos of this. I guess so.
That's what I call Scheiß auf die Polizei.
So they were like these two. They were these two. Rob just said poop on the police. There are these. I think there are these also different approaches in this. In Hambacher Forst and at Ende Gelände, for example, towards the police.
Extinction Rebellion, you're not literally shitting on the cops. So
get better
at that.
Do better. So mentioning that Extinction Rebellion maybe isn't so, I mean, they don't talk about capitalism or anti-capitalism so much, is maybe a good transition into Ende Gelände, because I do think one of the good things that they do is they are explicitly anti-capitalist. Maybe they could be even more, because I do think just saying you're against capitalism doesn't take into account a lot of the like vehicles through which that should go, such as class struggle. But yeah, it's kind of complicated. What do we want to say about like the relationship between the activists at Ende Gelände or in the Ende Gelände movement and the workers at the coal mine?
Yeah, maybe one thing also before that, like I think Ende Gelände was from the beginning on very like open and broad kind of. I think a lot of people joined who maybe aren't anti-capitalist actually, but they were just environmentalists, and then they joined. And
they're wrong.
They are.
It is true.
So I hope that Ende Gelände like made them anti-capitalist, but I don't know. But I think that has to be said. But I think how like the actual organization, they do connect. They do know. They do say and connect like climate crisis and capitalism. That's the source of it.
Yeah. Well, they actually realize that the left are the real fascists. In that, what was that video that I saw today that was just like that? the left is worse than ISIS.
Yeah, from Candace Owens or something.
Oh my god,
I didn't
that
watch
was-
it. I saw it go by with the sound off, and I made a business decision with my brain to not watch this.
It was way too good of a take.
But about the workers, I think so I think like in the action constants they say that their actions aren't against the workers. What's true? Like the action is against RWE, and RWE is not like actually in the workers' interests because it's not workers owned or anything, and it's destroying their future. But and they do have like also a lot of messages like in connection with that. For example, they're like, so the German government, they decided to do like the coal exit in 2030, and they will give like tons of money to RWE. That's what they decided on.
Yeah, billions,
but
40 billion.
Yeah, exactly. But and RWE has doesn't want to give any money to their workers, of course. Makes
Cool.
sense.
That sounds normal in a capitalist system.
Yeah, and Ende Gelände is like kind of saying like, we exit coal now, and the workers get all that fucking money like RWE made, and they're having like kind of some sayings like for every worker, like I don't know, they don't get that amount of money and stuff like this. So I think like that's how they address it, like theoretical, but practical, like that's maybe different thing, but yeah.
Yeah, practically one of the, well, first I should say for the people, because it is a little confusing, that Germany earlier this year did agree to the coal exit, the Kohleausstieg.
And that's what I mentioned
Yeah.
when they decided on doing it in 2030 was of course too late, and giving every like so fucking much money, and they already do have a lot of money.
Yeah, but so there is something on the table saying there will be no more coal mined in Germany in 19 years. That's a little late, I would say.
And maybe it won't happen. Every doesn't want that.
True. And then I don't know. I think it's explicit in the agreement that like the final date can be negotiated, which is cool. So it doesn't actually mean anything. But that is the context in which we're working. Like, because I think the argument can be made, again, always a dumb argument, but like, yeah, you got what you wanted as the Kohleausstieg, but I do think they're like, not only are they not accepting that, there's like an extra action this year. So just want to put that into context. One thing, since we have to criticize Ende Gelände too. One thing, and I don't even know if this is a criticism of them in particular, I would say there's some hostility to Ende Gelände in the area. Like, maybe they're from employees of RWE, but like, there are groups that are like alle dürfen bleiben, who work with Ende Gelände. But if I just, as a person going there, I would say, obviously the majority are like kind of indifferent or don't engage with it, but there is some like hostility there to Ende Gelände. Yeah. And some of that is from workers who think they're like against them. Like, for example, the union where some workers are organized, like they did a demonstration when Ende Gelände did their action. So yeah, but I sometimes wonder, or I think that sometimes what's kind of rumors around that RWE actually has some people in the union and stuff, like kind of like.
That's like really common in Germany, though, just in general.
That happens, yeah. I don't know enough about it, but it makes sense. But of course, like I think, of course, it's great for RWE if like the enemies of them are these environmental activists who want to take away their job. Of course, it's shit if you lose your job, which is for them maybe their identity or something. But RWE, they are the ones who are actually like exploiting them and not paying them enough money and stuff.
Yeah. And the SPD does call like Ende Gelände the like Öko mob. Like
exactly.
SPD, this fucking milquetoast party does like go off to like, and actually that's historically connected. One thing I didn't mention when we talked about how important coal is situated in the history of Germany. Not only are the coal companies, they're strongly allied, literally paying the general secretary of the CDU. The coal workers are part of the backbone of the SPD and all the union workers throughout the Rhineland. So basically, up and down, it's kind of tied into the establishment German politics. Yeah, and like I think I actually don't know so much about this. I think I sometimes when I joined for some plenaries and stuff from Ende Gelände, like on general, I
people were talking about that they actually do want to, that they wish to have contact to the union and would also organize a strike, like in connection, like they do the action and they organize a strike, or in general they support each other or something. So yeah, that sounds very great actually to do that, like to organize a strike with them, because yeah, it's like in both of our interest actually, the whole thing, to like they're unified and they're to be against RWE. But yeah, I don't know how that actually looked in practice, if there was actually some, what I think they are in contact, but I don't know how and stuff, so I can't really tell about that. But at least they Ende Gelände wants to, and as far as I know, there also are in general like a lot of climate justice movements are in contact with the unions, and at least what I saw from the climate justice movement side, that the unions don't really want to be engaged with them, but I don't know what's actually happening.
Yeah, I know some people did try to organize to like join, like some unions put on actions or just demonstrations around the same time as Ende Gelände, because obviously they know it's happening, and sometimes I know people try to organize to go to that too, to like join them and say, hey, we're on your side. But yeah, it could be better. So maybe that's a segue into the political representation. I touched on it before. How we want to call, like, what exactly does it mean for this to be anti-capitalist? Do you have any?
What is it?
Well, all right. Maybe to better introduce that topic, I want to bring up one of the legacies that we didn't really touch on. We mentioned EL, who are committed anarchists in Germany who do some good work.
Anarchists? No.
And EL.
Do it not 100%. But
what would you call them?
Probably they're like I'm not sure if they're so anarchist, but I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Anarchist leaning leftists in EL. Another aspect of it is the anti-nuclear movement, which was big across Europe, but was very big in Germany and somewhat effective, especially after 2011 when they got Merkel to agree to shut down all the nuclear power plants in Germany, or agree to. It will happen in the future. And that is another strand. That is a very significant aspect of Ende Gelände too, because a lot of people are the same people engaged with it, and a lot of the tactics are the same, are inherited from the anti-nuclear movement. And I don't know, I think that's a less leftist aspect of Ende Gelände. I know that's a broad statement to make, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think this works. I think what I think is good about Ende Gelände, maybe to give a program. I think what is good, what we talked about that I think already before, that they do see these connections, how the government, like the CDU government, is really like representing RWE's interests, and the police is also like so involved with it and protecting RWE's property and capital. And I think that's cool that they connect all these things, but I also think these other points you made are true.
Well, just with the anti-nuclear movement, just as an example, we were talking before about the independence movements in the Baltics. That was in 1991 because they were part of the Soviet Union. And at least in Estonia and Latvia, both of the independence movements, it was kind of connected between all three of the Baltic states. But in those two countries, they came explicitly out of environmental movements. In Estonia, there was a movement against the Soviet Union wanted to do phosphate mining in the north of Estonia. And in Latvia, it was building a hydroelectric plant. And there were all these movements. There was the big chain. We didn't talk about that yet.
Oh God,
that's another classic environmental movement. But literally, they had the chain across the Baltics. Like, but I do think that's an example of how that kind of serves a neoliberal end, because environmentalism, when it's not grounded in a certain anti-capitalism, or in this case, in class struggle, can serve a neoliberal end, because yeah, the independence movement in the Baltics, like, yeah, where did it get us today? I don't know. I'm sure the people in the Baltics are
super happy right now.
Yeah, everything's going great. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
they don't have a mass exodus of people.
It's complicated, is all I want to say. But it's like it's not automatically good. On the other side, Liv, we were talking about before that like the anti-nuclear movements did leave kind of a legacy of struggle in a lot of small German towns that are much more radical today because of it.
Yeah, it's true. Like in the Wendland, for example. But actually, I'm not sure if they're actually so good.
Then we can cut that. Sorry, I don't know.
No. But like I think now if you go there, they are maybe politicized. I hope in the right ways. I think there are some good projects going on there in the Wendland, but I don't know enough about it. I don't want to say they're perfect. But yeah, there are a lot of like solidarity, co-op agriculture and stuff, which is a good structure to do agriculture. But yeah.
Want to talk about white people?
Yeah, you want to start?
There's a little bit of an elephant in the room that's been running throughout all of this.
Yeah, but maybe we can.
A lot of white Germans at Ende Gelände.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of white Germans in Germany, just in general. You're gonna run into a lot of them.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a little bit of a problem.
I'm also annoying Kartoffel. I have to say so, just so you know. Yeah, like I think maybe. So I think after the action in November from Ende Gelände, there was a letter about climate camps and climate camps and the Ende Gelände action by BPOC, by Black, Indigenous and people of color, who wrote some things about this. And maybe we can say some stuff they wrote in the letter, because I'm not sure if we can publish it. I think it's not allowed to be published.
I think it's
like just mention some stuff in there.
But it's suffice to say that people are utilizing the like horizontal aspects of Ende Gelände to try to, make it more open and for a broader section of people.
Yeah, I think we can also talk about the environment.
More inclusive. I mean. Yeah,
but I think the environmentalist movement right now in Germany has a lot of problems. Like also they are really like at the climate camps and stuff. They're really like this like whole like weird like hippie thing with like building dream catchers and doing yoga. And
well, Ende
which is very like
Ende Gelände is even like banned
kind of.
like they've like had like struggle sessions about like guys always going around like naked and stuff,
right? Yeah,
like with their top off, because like that's like, all right, what are you doing here? Like, come on, this is
I don't know if Ende Gelände, but yeah.
No, it was at Ende Gelände. I mean,
but there are too at some climate camps, which are also very climate justice movement. They have these rules. Yeah.
Rob, are you saying that you got in trouble at Ende Gelände for running around naked?
I got cancelled.
Oh shit.
Also depends how. Yeah, so that's very bad. I think a lot of people know this kind of stuff, and there's also just not enough like education about this, like not enough education about anti-racism and these movements and stuff.
All right,
and
this Ende Gelände sounds kind of interesting, but I think I have a better protest. What if we all got together and got a little black shoe polish, rubbed it on our faces, and said, "This is what coal does to you."
Yeah.
Ende Gelände is not perfect. There are a lot of white people with dreads, but
environmentalist activists like really suck.
There's not a lot of political discussion, not as much as I would like, but there's an organization that gets something done every year that is certainly like an open vehicle for more people and more radical people and to do more, and it's absolutely there. So I encourage any listeners interested to come, participate however you can. All aspects of the action, whether it's cooking, helping out in the camp in some way, actually participating or going into the coal mine, everything is valuable and really necessary. I will be there. Liv will be there. So
maybe Nick now too.
I won't be there now.
Can't take that. All
sorry.
Annoying people.
I
understand.
The sea of dreadlocks, white people dreadlocks. I don't think I could.
It smells really good.
All people don't shower to save water.
I'm good. Like I'll sit here and pretend to die in the middle of Alexanderplatz with.
I want you to do a constant die-in for all 4 days I'm gone. I want to see it on the.
I'll like
show
report
Instagram.
to you. I'll just like Instagram live stream it for you. Like, Rob, I'm still here. I'm dead. Hope you're doing well. Kisses.
And yeah, maybe also because we were really mean to Extinction Rebellion. Like, I think it's very new, and now it's already very very fixed. But it is a new organization, so maybe it can change to the better.
Yeah,
Like,
they should not be as media obsessed, not have as much money, and not be as top down though.
Yeah.
But keep all the die-ins in so I can make fun of you.
Yeah.
They should do the chain. I don't know if they've done that yet, but yeah, they should they should tap into that.
What are they going to connect?
That Baltic. They should go from like the tip, like all across the UK, from the tip of Scotland down to England, baby.
I mean, that just sounds like a really lame, like anti-Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they'd be all about that. All right. What information do the listeners need? We'll link to Ende Gelände in the show notes.
Yeah, we will put some links there. So, actually, if you speak German, Ende Gelände just started a podcast. If you love listening to podcasts, but it's in German, we can put it too. And should we talk about the action weekend?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it will. So from the 19th to the 24th June, there will be a action weekend from Ende Gelände, and they will hopefully occupy the destroy RWE, occupy the bugger and the.
We're gonna do it this time, guys. We're gonna end capitalism. I got a good feeling about this year.
But what's also interesting about it, because we also spoke about Fridays for Future, that they will be around there too. Like, people from all around Europe from Fridays for Future will go to Aachen around that time too, and they will also go close to the pit, to the mine, and do a legal protest there. But maybe some of the
see you in the pit.
So maybe some of the kids will join. Like, they trained a lot on Fortnite and stuff. They know how to run and.
Where we dropping in, boys? Yeah. So the flip side to the worst police repression, meanwhile Nazis are marching in Dortmund, and they're just like sending more and more vans full of hot dog neck cops to the coal mine. The flip side of that kind of sad news is that the Fridays for Future, there were always legal demonstrations. I mean, there were always I guess we'll call them legal demonstrations in parallel to as part of Ende Gelände, as part of it. So it is very cool that Fridays for Future is being a part of it this year. We will see what comes out of that, but that is definitely a good sign.
Yeah, like I just I think it's very good when they support each other, and let's hope these children will all grow and be anti-capitalist.
If you listeners, please come and radicalize the children.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it, folks.
So yeah, radicalize your kids, and that's it. That's all we got.
See you in the pit, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see you in the pit.
Everywhere.
Yeah, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next week for
very exciting topic.
Very exciting topic. Kieran, we're going to try to resurrect him. We're going to see if Yulia maybe will also swing back after she's, done 360 no-scoping, fascists on the, banks of the English Channel or wherever the fuck she is stationed right now. And, yeah. So, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.